show is so much about the two of them, obviously, right? And then like if we're going to take something like The Office, where like a Jim and Pam relationship was something that was also like, you know, we were like waiting on it. And then the payoff for that was that we have this sort of romantic storyline that continues through the rest and evolves through the rest of the thing. Whereas with this, they were like, this is waiting, and it's done after this episode. Like we're never, and I think it's true, like you were saying, it's just like, this is your neighbor who's like, oh, who's that hot neighbor who's like, I see all the time and that like is like mysterious and I don't know about him. And then you're like, oh, he's kind of a strange dude.
4 and 3 and 2 and 1.
Welcome back to Girls Rewatch, a podcast about girls,
TV,
and girls on TV. Today we are covering season 2, episode 5, Knockoffs.
I did 1 and 1.
Period.
This, I mean, we're going to, of course, get into it, but this episode is rated in the top 100 episodes of all time.
Of TV shows?
For TV shows.
Okay, because I was going to say they have only like 50 episodes.
No, of all TV shows, this is in the top 100 or 1,000.
It's an incredible episode of television. It's one of the most ones that are like most memorable in my mind.
Yeah, literally.
Like them getting their nails done. Anyways, we'll save it. How are you? Happy New Year, or Happy New Year's Eve. I hope you had a wonderful Christmas and Hanukkah.
I need to harbinge more chaos in my life so I have something to talk about on this podcast.
Okay, me too. Because
I need to throw myself into precarious situations.
Me too. But you know what is exciting? So on Sunday, I did a terrible show at Alligator Lounge, shout out. And morale was so low in the audience that I gave away all the chocolates my manager had sent me as my Christmas present. So I was like, you want a chocolate? Here's a chocolate.
Wait, I know much you love chocolate. Why also did you bring those to?
Because I was going
show.
to my friend Richie's house after to like hang out with him and his roommates and order Wingstop because Richie really wanted to try Wingstop.
You know, I hung out with Richie last night and he couldn't stop bringing up the Wingstop. I heard you got lemon pepper, which was his favorite.
Not him bringing up the favorites. We tried every type of Wingstop, and I have to say, like, the lemon pepper was the best.
People love I keep hearing about it. Hot Honey was good too. Hot Honey was good.
We're not sponsored by Wingstop, by the way.
Did you try the classic buffalo?
I tried all of them. I've got to say, I think wings are nasty. I felt sick after, but I did love the corn with discs. They chop the corn in ways that they're little frisbee mode, and then they spice them up with, like, I guess paprika. And I was like, honey, you did the damn thing.
It is so funny when you spice something up, like 9 times out of 10 it is gonna go ahead and be paprika.
I know, every time you're like, what could this be? It's like chili powder, paprika. Every damn time.
I one time went to a French restaurant in France. A crazy combo when I was 16 years old.
Escargot?
Let me finish.
Oh my God. I'm sorry. That was such an obnoxious snooze.
And a waiter came over. He doesn't speak a lot of English. And we point to every single dish. We go, oh my God, this is this amazing like chicken scampi. We don't serve that at French restaurants. This is amazing salad. What's in it? He goes, cumin. We go, awesome. What is this chicken about? Cumin. Every single dish.
Is it called cumin? Cumin.
Well, okay, but I'm doing a French accent.
Oh, that's your French accent. Duh. Anyways, wait, that's amazing. Let's read the synopsis really quick before our guest gets here. And I am so sorry. I'm really sorry, you guys. I had no idea that I was speeding it up too fast and that it was it's inexcusable what I did, and it will never happen again, and I will slow down the speed at which this is brought to you.
I don't think you have to apologize that long.
No, they were pissed.
They were that upset.
People commented on YouTube, but also they found a way to utilize Spotify comments, which I didn't even know how to use. So they're unlocking new technologies to let me know that it has to stop.
It's so funny.
So it will. And this is going to be at a normal pace. Ilana's mom, Bobby, a classic Long Island Jewish broad, is in town because Grandma Esther passed away and they have to go to a shiva for her. Abbi, Ilana, and Bobby get pedicures, but Abbi leaves to finally go on a date with Jeremy, and things are going pretty well until Abbi asks to switch positions, and Jeremy thinks she wants to peg him. Ilana and Bobby get in a van with blindfolds to go to a manhole in Chinatown with amazing knockoff name brand bags. Abbi nervously calls Ilana from Jeremy's bathroom, asking if she should peg him, and Ilana does gymnastics in celebration and convinces Abbi to peg him by pulling her dead girl boss grandmother card. Abbi spends the night at Jeremy's and tries to wash his dildo in the dishwasher the next day, but it melts, so she has to go to the sex shop and tries to buy a similar one before going to Ilana's grandma's Shiva. Bobby misplaces her phone and looks through all the counterfeit bags she bought, and the police see and arrest her and Ilana. Meanwhile, Jeremy immediately notices the knockoff dildo and gets sensitive about it, so Abbi leaves, thus closing the Jeremy chapter. Bobby finally mourns her mother's death through the loss of the counterfeit bags.
And that's what you missed on Glee.
Oh, period. Amazing.
I was trying to like reenact it as you read it.
I saw that.
By the way, you were reading it pretty fast.
Gotcha. Yeah, it's the amazing pegging episode with the knockoff bags. Just for those who didn't understand the last minute. But we're so excited for our guest.
Yeah, Nico Carney.
Nico Carney on the pod, thank God.
Wait, I can't wait to have Nico on the couch. I really
can't believe we
so
haven't
excited.
had Nico yet. Nico is one of the most charming boys I know. Cross dissolve.
Oh my
The
god.
hilarious, the Gorgina, Nico Carney.
What's up,
I
girls?
love this guy.
I love you guys. Thanks for
Wait,
having me.
Thank God we finally got you on. We've been meaning to have you on the podcast since truly the beginning.
Well, thank you for having me. And I'm honestly
Yeah,
like
we
very.
promised you we wrote you down on a list about 18 to 19 months ago.
Don't even worry about it because honestly, it works out for the best because I know Broad City better than I know girls. So like,
this is
it honestly worked out
And we
perfectly.
knew that. We sensed
yeah,
that.
you sensed it about me.
Sensed it.
Yeah.
We're like, Connor's a girl.
Yeah.
Nico's Broad City.
Yeah, he's the more like emotionally sensitive one, and I'm the one who's like, let's just pretend everything's funny all the time.
Yeah.
Nico is so emotionally sensitive. And Connor, sorry.
What's your
But
joke
also-
of like two trench coach being like, we didn't know we'd make it this far?
Oh yeah.
It's
About going
so-
to the gynecologist as a trans guy, and the people there thinking that I'm two boys in a trench coat. And
I'm like, that is the plot of Broad City.
Yeah.
It is awesome that you delivered that joke straight into camera.
Well, you know, I know
like
what the
that you
people
did
want.
that.
I know what the people want.
Like, by the way, that's exactly what they needed.
Yeah, they want to see my eyes say it.
Wait, for people, if they don't know who you are, can you give us, what's your
Well,
deal,
you really?
deal?
Okay, but Nico does have giant eyes, and if no one's gonna acknowledge that, I have to.
Okay, yeah.
I think it's also really helpful for stand-up to have big eyes because people can really
Yeah.
tell like what emotions you're trying to deliver.
Totally. Yeah, I think it's good to have an expressive face to be able to do layers
Well, I
of
wouldn't say
jokes.
that, but your eyes definitely are.
So if anyone at home wants to get into comedy, just try being born with big eyes.
Enlarge your eyes.
Yeah,
invasive
it never
surge.
hurts to be able to see more of the audience. But
And
yeah,
no, by
I'm
the way, it does hurt to see more of the audience.
it kind of depends. No, it totally depends. I hate any show where I can see every audience member. That's
Right.
never fun because then you
Well, then
get
it's
sort of
4
one by
girls
one
in a room.
Yeah, you get one by one feeling of how they feel about you.
You're
versus,
learning too much too quick.
Yeah, versus when you can just like shout into the void and can't see anybody. That's kind of ideal. But yeah, my name's Nico. I'm a stand-up comedian. I perform a lot in New York. I'm on tour as well. If you want to see me in 2025, check out my Instagram at Nico Carney. I have a podcast as well called Boys Club. Both of our lovely co-hosts here have been on it. Go check out their episodes.
This is an amazing plug.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm like, wait,
Are
you're
we
killing
supposed to do this?
But yeah, I'm so thrilled to be here. I love Broad City.
Oh my God, what's your journey with Broad City? Did you watch it as it came out?
So I actually was a little bit late to it. I saw it once it was all out. I actually think I watched it for the first time when I moved back to New York in 2021 because I lived here super, super briefly after I graduated high school in 2019.
And
then
where are you from again?
Savannah, Georgia.
Whoa.
I knew that, by the way.
Yeah. So I like wasn't exposed to. I mean, I like saw like some comedy when I was a kid, but I was definitely more of like a sports kid. So I wasn't like. I feel like there's a lot of people in the New York scene who were like super film and like artsy growing up and like already knew all this like alt
They want
stuff.
you to think that, but by the way,
Yeah.
they're all playing intramural soccer as well.
totally. But so I watched it like all the way through, I think in 2021 when I moved back here, and it was like such a fun like way to be like, oh, I live here now, and like this is what maybe my life will be like, and so I watched it, like I binged it in like one season or in one sitting, and I like fucking adore it. It's such a great show and so funny, and I just obviously I watched this and a couple other episodes to prep for today, but it's just like it really holds up. It's so fucking funny.
It's so good. And we were just saying this in the intro. This is one of the top rated episodes.
I was going to say, I'm so thrilled to
I
be here
know.
for this one because this is like an iconic episode.
It's
I'm
I guess we
honored.
could give it to you.
I promise I'll do my best to do it justice because I was so
I was like, we couldn't get
flattered.
Ilana for this one.
Literally, this is like one of the most iconic episodes. Yeah.
No, we needed Nico on the couch for
we
this.
we
Yeah.
needed family on the
Yeah,
couch
yeah,
for this
yeah.
one. Absolutely.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
before we jump into the broad and the butter of the episode, we have a really important question we have to ask you.
It's so funny to say bread and butter every time, isn't it?
Girl, what girl are you?
Okay, I put some thought into this, and I think I'm Lincoln.
No,
I wish you
really?
didn't put thought into it.
Has anybody been Lincoln yet?
We've asked people if they thought they were Lincoln, and they've all politely declined.
Okay, this is why I think I'm Lincoln, because I don't think I'm quite as. I definitely have moments of, I think, both Abbi and Ilana. I think a lot of people probably feel that, where, like, because I think they both really occupy, like, the crazy and the anxious in really fun ways.
Yeah.
And obviously they're more, per the title, broad than the average, like, because it's a sitcom. But I don't think I feel enough of them to feel that. But, like, Lincoln, I always, like, really vibe with because he's just like, I just want to be a dentist and have a wife and, like, have a normal enough life. And I think that's, like, deeply what I want is stability, despite, like, going.
You're a stand-up comedian.
I know. And it's not, it's like the
Like,
furthest you could get.
I just want to be a dentist who goes on tour.
Yeah, what the hell?
I just, like, want the stable version of it. And I think at my core, that's, like, I want to just be, like, chill and laid back and have a very stable life. So I think I really want.
Right.
I think Lincoln is who I am at the center.
I
I
feel like
will
that
say
makes a
you're
lot
like
of sense.
you're the only comedian in Brooklyn that's our age that has stable bookings. It's like, I can't think of anyone
You're the
else.
most stably booked.
Yeah, truly.
which is
You
good.
are
Yeah, so
mostly
I get
there.
I get those $10 at the bar shows. It
Yeah.
keeps me stable.
Getting rich.
Yeah.
No, that is so true. And I feel like Lincoln is like, oh, I love that other people are having fun. Like, you guys go do that, and
Yeah.
I'll be hanging out, having a routine.
Yeah, that's kind of
Yeah.
my vibe. I think as I
Are you go
prefer.
with the flow too? You feel very go with the flow with me.
Yeah, I mean, I
me.
can. I think with you especially,
really
I am.
special
But
relationship. He's crazy everywhere else.
something about you is so centering. No,
What the hell is going on?
I think I am go with the flow. It kind of depends.
Are
on
you
the
still dating
situation.
Maddie? No.
I am my sweet girlfriend Maddie. I am go with the flow. With like social things, I think I'm not somebody who's like, we have to go to this bar, we
Yeah.
have to do this. I think I'm pretty chill about that stuff. But when it comes to my work and like my routine, I'm very
You so are.
like
Yeah.
Because
I have to do
you're
these
one of those
things.
comedians who's not like outwardly crazy. Like there's so many comedians who are like, you're a very funny person, but it's like some comedians who are like they're always like throwing themselves at a joke or like every opportunity, like truly like, throwing a vodka cranberry like on their head to, like,
Yeah.
make someone laugh. You're like, I'm here, whatever. And then you like deliver an amazing set.
Thank you. Yeah, I think it's
Yeah.
I see it in a Lincoln way where it's like my
Yeah.
work is at work and my home is at home, and I try to keep that as separate as possible,
Yeah.
just because I
you
like.
need to sort of vlog.
Yeah. yeah. The
Nico
most boring
vlogs.
vlog ever is like back at the desk doing my thing. I think that's something that's fun too. Like, I don't know. I think like with comedy, like I think a lot of people think comedian, and there are plenty of comedians who do live like really like lavish lives and like interesting, I don't know, crazy stories and stuff. And like, I don't know. I just like don't. I don't know. I'm a lot more boring, I think, in my day to day in the way that Lincoln is. Like, I think, but then I'm surrounded by goofy people.
You're like, they can be the crazy ones.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and then I'll write the stories about
It's
it.
just the pivotal straight man character.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yes, with a twist.
With the
The
twist.
twist. Hey, I can't believe your web series didn't get funding yet.
Thank you. Well, we're working on it. And if you're listening, any benefactors out
Yeah.
there,
That's so
call me.
Girl, what girl are you this week?
Oh my god. You know I'm Bobby, bitch.
Oh,
I'm
yeah.
so Bobby.
Yeah.
You know I'm Bobby, bitch is crazy.
I'm like, I actually go to China. I buy so many fake items. It was at one point my true lifestyle. I would spend 7 to 8 hours a week on the Chinese internet. I was like,
I watched this episode and I said, this is epic.
the whole websites would be in Chinese.
Yeah.
I'm still buying counterfeit goods off them
No,
because that's where the
totally.
best deals are. They
yeah.
hide them in China. You have to usurp Chinatown. Go straight to China. I'm telling you.
Go to the source.
Go to
yeah.
the source.
Yeah. Skip the
And-
middleman.
And I think it's also when you go to a shiva, it's like, yes, they're sad, but I'm also gonna like have an intimate conversation about something that has nothing to do with the dead person involved.
Totally.
Absolutely. That's shivas. I think shivas are a celebration of life, and like I absolutely love to celebrate life.
Yeah, I only know of I was raised Catholic, and I also grew up in Savannah, Georgia. So we didn't have a lot of Jewish community. I mean, there was a Jewish community, but I only went to I think one bar mitzvah,
Literally
which is
same.
like the opposite of like if you live in the Northeast, it's like you're going to
Yeah.
like 100. and I've never been to a Shiva. My only knowledge of Shivas is from this episode and Shiva Baby. And so,
When you
and then
said-
both of those other things happen at the Shiva. So I
Right.
understand it to be a place for other
You're
things to
like,
go
I've
down.
seen Rachel Sunday. I know what it's all
Yeah,
about.
I
It did
know
feel
it's
like
about
when Nico
lesbian
said he's never
love.
been to a Shiva, he wanted me to die.
No, I just don't know many Jewish people who have died, I guess, because they live long, beautiful
Right,
lives.
but you keep saying that. It makes me feel like you want me to die.
No, never,
It's like,
never,
I would
never.
love an opportunity to go to a Shiva,
Yeah.
Evan.
I would not feel centered anymore if I didn't have you in my life.
Well,
I do want to go to your Shiva.
no, that's
I
so sad. It
prefer-
breaks my heart to
but
think
then
about you at my Shiva.
I feel like
I
I'd
want
rather
an
It's
Orleans
only
style
side
Shiva.
conversations.
Yeah.
I'd rather die first.
Yeah, me too.
Okay. The Bobby and Ilana is so you and your mom, who, by the way, texted me at 6 a.m. this morning an article about how Amelia's a popular baby name in 4 states right now.
Wow.
She's like, you are so popular.
She said, "Girl,
loves
you're
an
trending."
article.
Well, and
And my
she's a
mom-
professional
yeah,
namer, so I
exactly.
feel like it's important for
Yeah.
her to know about
Your
that.
mom's a professional namer?
Yeah, she is. Not for babies, for
What?
products, but products can be some people's babies.
But in a way, babies could be products in this day and age.
Oh,
In this day and age.
That is really funny.
Yeah.
Oh, wait. Should I raise my child to do stand up?
Start them young.
Start him young.
Everybody
look
wants
at
to
Ruby
hear from a
Carr.
7-year-old.
Yeah,
People love when a
absolutely.
7-year-old
Yeah.
does like a well set up punchline.
God, anytime I've seen like a reel of a child doing stand up, it makes me sick to my stomach.
Yeah.
It's such an
So
adult
good.
art form. There's something you have to be so jaded, I feel like, to do stand up. Not like, I don't know.
Children should be pop stars.
They should be like not so, I don't know, there's like this callous darkness
It's like,
you need.
keep kids out of the entertainment industry unless they're,
They're
pop
pop
stars.
stars.
Yes, and then train them until they're dead. Okay,
Yeah.
like Jesus. No,
They
yeah.
can retire at 20, they'll be fine.
You can have the voice of an angel as a child. You can't have like the sardonic attitude that you
No.
need.
Okay.
Yeah,
It's not right.
Not sardonic.
Yeah, I'm bringing.
We don't
up,
use words like that
Come
on
on,
this podcast.
this is Broad City.
But you
I'm
know
bringing
what?
it.
I'm glad Taylor Tomlinson started young because I think it's important for her to be killing it at 30.
True, true.
She's only 30.
She's
Yeah.
only 30, Evan.
Her first special, I think, was
Never
Quarter Life
mind.
Crisis. She was like 25.
Literally.
Yeah,
My neck hurts.
total star.
Ask me what girl I am.
I know you've been itching for it. You're getting a little crazy, Amelia. Fine, Nico. You ask because I can't handle her right now.
Girl, what girl are you?
Thank you for asking. I am Ilana's dad when he answers the door and is like, I'll take your purse, Abby. And Abby says, I'll keep it. And he just goes, girl power.
I love that. I think if I was gonna pick somebody from this episode, I think I would be Ilana's dad too. I love the moment too where he hugs her and she
And she
farts, and then
farts.
later he goes, "I'll never tell anyone about your heart." It's so
Like,
good.
I wish
It's
you
such a
would bring it up.
funny little like D joke, like D line storyline in it. That's like just like a little runner. It's so
He
funny.
is so funny when their parents are talking about how they went to a swingers party accidentally, and he was like, "I gotta learn so much." Like he's truly a lifelong learner. That guy.
Yeah.
But whose dad is nice like that?
I know that's
Some
such
dads
a
are like that.
funny like
Low estrogen. I mean, high estrogen.
Your dad,
dads.
your dad's like that.
No, he's not.
I
yeah,
feel like
he is.
My dad has like bipolar fits at like restaurants. Every dad does.
Yeah, that's kind of a dad's bread and butter is
Yeah.
the bipolar fit at the restaurant.
Okay, you're not the guest. You're the third co-host. Get in here.
Listen,
Can I be the guest, please?
I'm moving into the studio. What was I gonna say? Yeah, the dad character. I feel like that's like because my dad is very. He didn't grow up in the South, but he does. He grew up on a farm and has like a
Right.
very like kind of like hard exterior to him. He's like a soft guy in certain ways, but like that sort of softer masculine edge to dad like feels like this sort of I don't know Northeast core that I like NPR listener that I did not grow up around, and so that is like a foreign. But I loved it. I
Right.
was like, this is such a funny like relationship dynamic. This mom and dad, like it's so good.
So
Well, it's like
good.
dads who choose to wear Warby Parkers.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
like that's the kind of dad we're finding here.
Totally.
I love a dad who chooses to wear Warby Parkers.
Yeah.
I love it. Okay, we have to cut to our first break, but when we get back, it's finally time for the broad and
We
the butter.
have to cut this episode. Oh no, we're back.
Oh, and we're back. We're back so soon.
No ad played sucks. Not even State Farm one.
Not
to fill
even
it
a
in?
State Farm one.
Jesus.
Come on. I was gonna ask, what is Elliot Glazer's in this episode? And Elliot and Ilana, like the dad says something and they're like, "We know." Do you guys remember what I'm talking about?
There was a really funny moment when they're at the Shiva where they're talking about the swingers party, and then he says, and their son had just died of like an overdose, and we wanted to be supportive.
Yeah.
like the other reason for doing it, and the food was so good. So funny. I'm trying to remember what it was.
I forget, but it was something about like an unhealed like mother wound or something in a way where I was like, oh, they were ahead of their time.
Yeah.
Because it's both the kids being like, we know, Dad.
Dads love to repeat themselves.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Literally. Anyway, so this is the amazing episode. What?
No, sorry. I was going to say almost the same thing you did. This is the amazing episode.
Since the pilot, we have been waiting for Jeremy and Abbi to get together.
Yeah.
And finally, so last episode, did you watch last episode?
Season or episode 3?
Where Abbi leaves a 30-minute voicemail for Jeremy.
Yes.
So we know that finally Abbi only got the strength on a large amount of drugs to ask her crush to go out, and Jeremy said yes. So this is them going on their first date, which is at Jeremy's house. And they've got homemade kombucha that they're drinking. And then they kiss.
Is it kombucha? I thought it was a brew.
Is it brew?
He's like talking about his I forget what he says, but there's this great moment where he's like basically like, yeah, it's all like, you know, he's explaining how all this shit's like very specific, and he like pops them both off at the same time. These like old bottles, like it's like that feels like the sort of 2010 like I don't know, Brooklyn dude who's like brewing his own beer and like has this cool loft apartment.
It's such a nod to the old you when you used to make your own kombucha.
I know, I need to
leather.
get back there.
Wow.
Well, I'd make kombucha, and then a byproduct of kombucha is you can make leather out of it.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I wouldn't lie about something like that.
Evan used to give kombucha leather out to our guests, but I don't know.
I think I
Wow.
poisoned Elsie Fisher, but no one can confirm that.
And are we talking about like a leather you wear or like a fruit leather?
It's
leather
leather
you
you
eat?
can wear.
Okay.
You
But it's
can't
very,
eat
like-
it so much.
Okay.
You could eat it also.
So it's all the byproduct of kombucha that's non-edible.
Right. So it's not the byproduct, it's a SCOBY, which ferments the kombucha. It's like the mother agent. Like you think of sourdough, there's the mother in
Starter.
it, which
the
the
mother
starter.
agent.
The mother
Got it,
agent.
got
You
it,
think
got
about
it.
mother and apple cider vinegar.
Sure. Okay.
Evan wasn't making enough leather for like pants, but enough for a wallet.
Yeah. The next duct
Enough
tape
for a
wallet.
poor wallet. The next duct tape wallet. Yeah.
But anyways, this show is so sketch comedy, whatever. Like we're not really supposed to be that emotionally invested in like the hookups and stuff. But I literally teared up on the treadmill watching the episode where they kiss, and then Abbi goes, I can't believe I'm kissing Jeremy, and then Jeremy goes, I can't believe I'm kissing Abbi.
Yeah.
I was like, stop it.
Well, it is beautiful to watch that, but do you think when 30-year-olds kind of they don't have children or families, they become artisans? Like this is what straight men get to do.
Sure, yeah,
It's
yeah.
like they
I'm like, this is the most emotional ever. You're like, so he's an artisan.
it's an artisan.
Artisan. Yeah, he has a lot of kimonos.
Yeah, I love that part where she said you have a kimono corner. Yeah, I think one of the things that I thought worked so well in this episode for both of their storylines is the sort of genre play that they do with that, because like it does set it up perfectly as like, oh my God, finally, after 2 seasons, they're gonna finally be together. And like, you know, this long anticipated, and it is very cute, and it's like a very rom-com-y setup. And then parallel with Ilana's like handbag story, where that's like very like, you know, like they make it play it up as if it's an action thriller with the kind
Literally.
of back and forth. And so I think they set it up really well for the, you know, obviously reversal with the whole pegging situation.
Totally. Yeah, it is so fun because it is like the sweet moments of Broad City are immediately cutting back to like the mom and the daughter are in a van blindfolded, like going into a manhole, and it is like tonally like it's so consistent.
Yeah.
Well, this is an episode with a clear A plot, B plot structure, where a lot of Broad City, like the A plot and the B plot are usually kind of like convoluted. Like there's it's usually a story of Abbi and Ilana traversing something, going through some mayhem in their lives, and like there is an A plot and a B plot, but they're together, so they kind of merge into one story. Where this is like 2 singular fun things happening at once, which I think makes the show, this episode in particular, so amazing to watch.
Totally. And it's a fun one that like I don't know, like I feel like a lot of, I mean, this season there seems to be a little bit more like Abbi adventure, because I think the next episode,
Right.
not to tease the next one, but it's the one where she's like in that speakeasy or something. I think episode 5.
Val?
Yeah. So there is like, but you know, obviously Abby's the more like sort of anxious one who's like, and Ilana's like the adventurer. And so I feel like this is a fun one where Abby's sort of leading that A plot of like the adventure in a way.
It's amazing, and it is cool to see Ilana become the responsible one when her mother is so like frantic about the death.
Yeah.
Like she's like, Mom, it's okay.
Yeah.
The bags are gone.
Yeah, they both kind of show a different side of themselves in this, which is cool.
Which is really nice because we knew Abbi was crazy.
we've been knowing
Yeah.
Abbi is crazy.
Yeah.
It's just like
Absolutely.
there's a more of a shell than Ilana has to like let that crazy out.
Yeah.
And obviously, like I think Ilana is like part of bringing
Right.
Abbi out of that shell. And obviously, one of the best. Obviously their friendship is one of the things that like I think makes this show sing so much is that constant like pushing each other to be crazy and like Ilana of like pulling Abbi out of her shell so much, and like I think it really culminates in this episode where she's like in the bunker with her mom like doing like twerking on the wall.
I know.
On the
Wait,
phone.
so it's amazing. They so Abbi and Jeremy, they're kissing, they're making out. They're like, "This is amazing." Abby's like, "You want to switch positions?" And then Jeremy thinks she means like peg her. So he pulls out his fancy dildo called a Shinjo, and Abbi is like shocked because she didn't see it coming. But she's like so obsessed with Jeremy that she's like, "Just give me a minute." She goes to the bathroom. She calls Ilana, and she's like, "Ilana, should I peg?" And Ilana starts twerking.
She goes,
Should I
"Hold,
peg?"
please," and then she's like, and then like twerks, and her mom's like, "Ilana, I'm on the phone." Like it's so funny.
So funny.
Yeah, that is great, and I love the moment where that shot is so fun because like he gets up, he hands her the dildo, and then the shot is on him. On all fours, ready to be penetrated with this like big glow on his face of like, yes, I'm gonna get pegged today, and her in the background just like, what the fuck? And then like
It's the funniest shot, and
So
he's just
good.
like right in the butt.
yeah, right in the butt, which is such a hilarious thing because I'm like, is anybody getting pegged saying right in the butt?
I
Like
don't
that is
think so.
that's such a funny line. And then when she comes out with it on and it's the
She's,
shot
like,
through her legs
ready
and you
to
see the thing,
Yeah.
see the dildo, it's like so funny. The reveal there is great.
They did so many amazing, what's it called? Slapstick. When
Yeah.
she leaves at the end of the
Oh my
episode and the
God.
dildo gets
Oh
stuck
my
in the
God.
door when
Yeah.
they're closing it. I'm
That's one of the things I love about. I thought this episode really nailed, and I think it's something that they do a lot, but especially this episode, like that no stone left unturned. Every joke has another like tag on it, like that for example,
Yeah.
like just like the little extra little joke of her getting caught in the door is so funny.
Well, and I do think it's interesting to watch her become a more confident version of herself when she
Mhm.
puts the penis on. Like something
Yeah.
about having
So
even
true.
an artificial penis makes her a more confident and like outward version of herself.
Totally.
I mean, I did note in this episode where it's like in so many times throughout the show, it's hard to witness Abbi and Ilana as like cool characters, right? Like they're always putting themselves at the expense of the joke,
Yeah.
right? And that's just the nature of a comedy. Like it's hard for anyone to be cool in the comedy because you are the joke.
Yeah.
But there's so many times I witnessed this episode and like I was really like, Abby's a cool girl.
Yeah.
Like way she like her haircut on with the I mean she always has it, but like the bangs were especially banging that day.
Yeah.
Her little denim like dress. She's wearing a fun shoe. Like this is an outfit that I
she's
think
wearing a fun
she's wearing a fun shoe. It's like she's traversing time and space with this outfit.
Yeah.
Her tweet aesthetic now in that episode will be popular. Give it some time next year.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Like that outfit she wore, it's gonna kill.
Coming back.
And the way
She
she's
has
situated,
Riz.
she has a real Riz in this episode that I don't think you get to see in every.
Yeah.
Even like when Bobby and Ilana like are like bye Abbi, and Abbi starts walking
Right.
away and they're like being like her butt's amazing, and instead of her being like don't look at me, she's like okay.
Yeah,
Yeah, she starts
absolutely.
kind of like shaking it for them. Yeah, it's very fun.
I'm like, get into it,
Yeah.
girl.
That's a fun point though about like when she puts the dildo on, how she feels like a bit more. Yeah, because and I also love their. Also, sorry, are we
Go
jump
say
through
whatever you
any
want.
part of it?
No,
Okay.
whatever.
When they're having that interaction and they're having that argument, what I thought it's so funny because she's having this argument with the dildo still on and like talking about it. But I also thought it was just so well written the way it sort of just like you hear both of them, I think, in a
Right.
really nice way. Like it feels like a genuine argument. Like you can see how he's kind of like, why were you going to use something that's not mine? Like you can sort of see his side of things there, and then also like her being like, you're being ridiculous about this, and then it escalates really nicely, and then you can see her flip on a dime from this guy that she was like so obsessed with, but
So
now she's
obsessed
the
with.
one with the dick, and she's like, well, fuck this, I'm out of here, you know?
Yeah,
And
she's like,
um,
you're so particular. You're
yeah.
you're nuts.
yeah, yeah,
Like when he's like, I love the like climax of the scene where he's like, did you really think you were gonna stick that in my butt and I wouldn't notice? And she goes, yeah, yeah.
And now you're just being childish. Oh, I pegged you on the first time we
date.
did anything. That's really mature. And it's just like, that is such a funny like window into, I don't know, being young and finding your way through like these sorts of situations and then being like, actually, when I talked to my friend, I was being super mature for being down to peg you, actually. It's just like the miscommunication there. It's just really fun.
By the way, she is mature.
Yeah,
like
it's
to
like-
peg
That
on the
is
first date
matured on the
without that
first date.
expectation. Like,
Yeah.
yeah, that girl is doing a lot of emotional work there. She didn't judge.
Yeah.
She said she didn't judge.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I do think this is a great example, though, of the theory where it's like the only reason you have a crush on someone is because you don't know a lot about them.
Totally.
And the moment you learn more about them, it dissolves like the insane like limerick feelings that you have
Yeah.
for someone.
Totally.
Limerence? What's it called? When you like are-
Limerence.
Limerence. Yeah. Like the moment she finds out that Jeremy, who like presents as a great guy, like he's teaching those children after
Yeah.
school. He makes his own brew. Like he
He's
has a
always
very
building things.
right, exactly. He's always like helping the needy. He had a dog that was terminal. LOL.
Yeah.
He's a really nice guy because he had a dog,
Dog
that was
that was
terminal.
terminal.
Yeah, and then he was like, "You're so good at talking about death." She's like, "Death makes me think about life." Yeah, and I also love when she says the only reason I pegged you is because Grandma Esther died and she fucked little Richard. And he's like, "What are you talking about?" Yeah, the way that the like, I also just like it's such a masterclass of an episode. Just the way that like the thematics of the Shiva and this and her like sort of like taking life by the reins kind of like do naturally sort of intersect, and it does give her like that line doesn't, it's funny and also doesn't
Right.
feel like it comes out of left field from the episode. Like it does feel
Yeah.
tied to the overall like sort of narrative of her life at that
you
moment.
talking right now is like giving me shivers for your web series. I'm so excited.
Thank you.
Oh, you're shivering.
She's
over here.
shivering. She's shivering.
This episode I do think is so strong because they spent so long working on the pilot of the show, establishing this Jeremy character. They knew it's the same thing with Luke and Lorelai, like finally kissing in the season finale of season 4. Like, not to bring that show up so much, but it's like we've been waiting for this. They've been waiting for this. They knew one day they'd finally like do this. So they've had so much time to think about like how they want it to all
Yeah.
unfold. And it's just like so clearly like they've planned this for a while.
I know, but I don't think Jeremy ever had the same genuine feelings for Abby the way Abby did for Jeremy. Like it is never, at least throughout like watching this rewatch, like I never felt like Jeremy was like having this high level of
Yeah.
attraction towards Abby. It's more of like he appreciates someone appreciating him.
Totally.
And that's why he
Totally.
like liked having Abby around. So that's why I don't necessarily know if it's like Luke and Lorelai as much.
Well, totally. It's not so much because it's different. But,
But one of the things I liked about it in this show, and I think it really is stays true to the show, because the show is so much about the two of them, obviously, right? And then like if we're gonna take something like The Office, where like a Jim and Pam relationship was something that was also like, we were like waiting on it, and then the
Yeah.
payoff for that was that we have this sort of romantic storyline that continues through the rest and evolves through the rest of the thing. Whereas with this, they were like, this
One
is
and
waiting,
done.
and it's done after this episode. Like
I
we're never,
know.
and I think it's true, like you were saying, it's just like, this is your neighbor who's like, oh, who's that hot neighbor who's like I see all the time and that like
Yeah.
is like mysterious and I don't know about him, and then you're like, oh, he's kind of a strange dude and like he got mad at me for trying to fix a problem and not just like so
yeah, I feel like it's so relatable to like almost anyone who dates anyone in their 20s is
Yeah.
like, it's like you're obsessed. You're not used to feeling obsessed. You're like, oh my God, I'm crushing so hard. This is so overwhelming. And then you're like actually hit with like, they're actually kind of weird and I don't like them.
yeah.
And it's like so much that thing of like being 20 something, thinking you want something so bad, getting it, and then being like, man, I'm right.
Well,
Yeah.
Don't you think the real will they won't they is Ilana and Lincoln?
Yeah.
Like, because
Yeah.
Ilana never sets like what their relationship is. Like she never defines it, while Lincoln is waiting patiently to date Alana.
yeah.
And like it's just a few seasons of Alana just like stringing Lincoln around. Like
Yeah.
not
You. All 5.
Yeah. And I love the way
Don't
they
they get more serious?
Well, don't they break up?
when is it?
Yeah.
It's definitely a
Different
later
topic, I
season
think,
where that famous line, "What am I, a child bride, Lincoln?" Or when she's
Oh
like,
yeah. She's like, I'm 27.
Yeah, and I love that. Like again, I think it like stays in tone with the show that they never sort of lean too far into the
Right.
romance there. They like they string it along and they keep our emotional stakes invested, especially as we care about the characters more. But I think something that was so smart about this show in general is like we don't really get to that sort of emotional point until like later seasons where they've already built our trust that they're so funny and that this is going to be a sitcom.
Yeah.
And that we love these two characters. And then when they do finally have those emotional breakdowns, like when Ilana freaks out about Lincoln, or like, obviously the finale when they finally part ways and stuff, like we've built that emotional like
thing.
bank up, and then it feels like it just hits that much harder.
Oh my
Oh my
god.
god, I got shivers again.
Yeah, wait, you're making us sad about the end already.
It's such a good
We
show.
need season 2.
No, don't make me watch it.
Wait, can we talk about the Shiva?
Yes. I was gonna say we need to talk about Susie Essman as like one of the best.
Oh my god, why have we never seen a fan cam of Susie Essman?
Right? I mean,
We'll make one.
and you should. I mean, Bobby Wexler is an incredible character.
Start to finish.
Yeah, start to finish, so good. I mean, obviously Susie Essman is a mainstay on Curb Your Enthusiasm, where she is excellent. And I forgot that she plays Ilana's mom. It just like, I don't know, I guess I hadn't seen it long enough that it blanked, and then when I saw her pop up at the beginning, I was like, oh, that's right, she's so good. And I love all the moments where they have the two shots of Ilana and Bobby, and they're like the same person. Like they have that a couple different times, like when
They're both shaking the
when
nail
they're shaking
polish.
the nail polish, or the I love that. How are you gonna do touch-ups when you're home?
Yeah.
You don't pick your own color.
It's so funny when they get in the van and they're like, oh no, we're not doing those handkerchiefs. We have our own.
Our own blindfolds.
It's like,
Well,
oh.
the perils of them like fighting.
Yeah.
Or they're both like citing articles to one another in the back of the Chinese van to the fake purses, and then
Yeah.
again with the police, like they are fighting the police in the same way when they later get arrested for like putting their bags on the street.
Yeah.
Well, we've been wondering for 13 episodes, like, why is Ilana like this? And now finally in this episode, we get to be like, oh, she's just like our mom.
Yeah.
They're like,
Yeah.
got our apple from the tree.
Totally. And I think
From the tree.
and they visually play that so well. Like they have those doubles of them a lot
The
where
hair.
they're doing the exact same thing. They're like, we're seeing them
When
you
they
know,
both yell at each other or yell at the guy on the street.
Yeah,
they're
yeah,
like,
yeah.
Oh, fuck you.
and that's such a good moment. And again, like they're so good at timing the emotions and then pulling that away from us for, and reminding it, we're still in a
Literally.
comedic world, and these are, despite having lost her mom, Bobby Wexler is still a no nonsense bitch who's gonna yell at you,
Like them yelling at the cops, like, ACAB, fuck you
Yeah,
guys.
yeah,
And then they get out, and Alana's like, it's okay about the bags, Mom.
Yeah. Shout out that the police officer in that is Sean Donnelly, who's a very funny comic.
Oh, really?
Yeah, here in New York. He's like in the club scene a lot, but
Shout out.
shout out
We
Sean
don't know
Donnelly.
that place.
Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah. They get Rodney Dangerfield's club. And like, no, Sean's very funny, very good comic. But I was like, it's just like one of those things that like, I'm hopeful that like with the, couple, younger shows coming out of the Brooklyn scene, Rachel Sennett's show and Adults and some of these other things, that we could just get to see more like, I don't know. It's so fun to watch back some of these episodes. You're like,
Right.
oh my God, that's that person who's like, we know now. Or like,
Yeah.
the end of the last episode, I think Marie Faustin and Sydney Washington are like one of the characters that like walk away, like the pair. So there's just like so many fun little cameos from like Brooklyn comics that I just,
Well, we have to hope that
we
continues.
hope that continues. Yeah.
But
Because
I haven't heard anything.
We've been bringing this up once every 3 months on our podcast
Yeah.
for 2 years now, and we're like, we need a new show where we can do that.
Yeah.
And it's like, where's our high maintenance?
Right.
Where is it?
Yeah.
I'll make it.
Yeah. That's why hopefully the web series are back and can be
Web
employing
series
people.
are
Yeah.
If
so
TikTok
back.
gets banned, web series is back.
Yeah. I mean, I'm already feeling that YouTube is going to be.
It is. Yeah.
Most
YouTube
stable.
is, by the way, because it's the most money for creators.
Yeah. And it's the most like, I don't know, of all the things that we've had, it's been here the longest, I think, right? It's the most.
Yeah, it's also like people will invest more
been
money
less-
in their people they watch on YouTube than they will on somebody vertical, because it's just like if you watch one video essay, that's like a month's worth of watching someone's TikToks.
Yeah, totally.
It's like an hour
Yeah.
content.
Yeah, absolutely.
I know, but I don't spend that much time on YouTube. I am spending a lot more time on TikTok than YouTube.
I know,
Yeah.
but you're a different breed.
Do you think
Yeah, people aren't like you.
people watch more YouTube than they think?
A lot.
Yeah.
A lot younger kids too. Like my sister's 12, and like her entire everybody she knows, they are only watching YouTube. They got rid of the Disney Channel because no one watches TV. They just watch YouTube.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Well,
but it's less creator first than it used to be. Like it is so much more topic and like I think it's more topic driven than it used to be. Like all the creators that made YouTube of its day, like Tyler Oakley or
Mhm.
Joey, whatever, are like those are now
Joey.
where people exist on TikTok more.
mm,
I think personality it's not as personality heavy as it once was.
yeah.
That is
Sure.
true. It's
Yeah.
usually like people who are like, I talk about this,
Right.
rather than like, here's my life.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm interested to see. I wish that like I don't know. I wish there was like a platform where just like all TV and film just existed, and then you would pay your like $5 a month, and you could just get access to all of it. And I wish like I don't know.
They should bring back cable.
Right, but make it on YouTube and then it's accessible from the internet. I don't know.
YouTube TV, be cable.
Be cable.
Be Time
Come
Warner.
on.
Why
Be
not?
cable.
Dish.
I don't have anything
Jesus.
to say on this.
Yeah. Well, neither do I. I have a lot of hopes and dreams and not a lot of economics
I think
background.
it's hard to guess what's gonna happen. So it's hard to put where to put your energy because it's so hard to guess what's gonna happen.
I would love to
Yeah.
be on any cloud.
Yeah. True.
Any server, girl.
Any
Any
server.
Yeah, get you in one of those big rooms where they have all their, wherever those servers.
Legit.
lie.
Wait, so what is y'all's experience with Chinatown and getting counterfeit
We know
goods?
what yours is.
What?
Getting your hair blown out.
I always go to Chinatown to get my hair blown out.
Oh, nice.
They're amazing there.
Yeah, I've not ever bought counterfeit goods from Chinatown. I know that to be part of, when you come here and
They're always on the corner with binders being
Yeah,
like,
they've
do
got
you come with me?
all their
Bobby-
stuff.
Bobby makes a really good point in this episode where she's like, I love going to this nail salon because they have a bad Yelp review and now it's so cheap. Because for establishments that are like Chinese owned, like Chinese food places or like getting your nails done, or just like they don't, it's not necessarily like about this, they do a great service and great product, but people in America expect such like a certain level of like quality walking
Sure.
in the door, like aesthetic and like all these other things, ambiance, where it's like it's more about just like getting your product and getting out.
Yeah.
And they usually by far do a much better product.
Yeah.
So I always go to like a Chinese food restaurant that has 3.5 stars.
Yeah.
Like, it's like I know the food's
Legit.
gonna be better
Yeah.
there.
Because you know who doesn't treat me right? Dry Bar.
Right, exactly.
When I
No.
go to Dry Bar, they don't understand. I walk into Chinatown. I walk into me and Tian hair salon. They get me, and they're playing Taylor Swift.
Yeah, yeah. I've never bought anything off of anything in Chinatown, but I did do a food crawl there with some friends, and it was like the most fun and the cheapest food
Yeah.
crawl I've done because everything was like $5. We went
It's
to
like
5 different places. We
old New
spent
York.
$30 each. It was great. It really is. It's like, oh, this is like the one place in the city where you could do a 5-restaurant food crawl and not spend more than $30.
Yeah, legit. That's
But-
amazing.
Yeah, so that was great. So I'm a big fan of Chinatown, and I like the way I love the sort of interlude cut like shots that they had of like establishing Chinatown with like the big pig coming through and stuff. It just
Yeah.
like because it is so like it is Chinatown. Like they do have like a lot of very culturally different things going on there, which is one of the things I love about New York is that you can step into other neighborhoods. And one of the things I love about New York shows is that you can really easily put somebody in a fish out of water situation, unless you're Bobby Wexler, where this is your home turf
Bread
apparently.
and butter.
Yeah. But no, this is one of the classic. The bag storyline is like one of the classics of all time for
It's
Broad City.
Classic. I forgot the knockoff episode in my head. I'm only remembering the bags. I'm not even remembering the pegging. I was like, that's a
Same.
different
They're two
episode.
separate
Totally, because they're so strong.
Yeah.
And it's crazy that it's such a good pairing too.
Yeah. Ugh, magic.
Yeah.
Well, I do like the way they have to get in a van to go maybe one block over.
Well, it's to disorient. It's to
Totally.
disorient.
And then the manhole, the whole thing is so funny, and the way that, and like obviously the parallel or the contrast with the fact that they were like, oh no, we bring our own blindfolds. Remember when you got
Yeah.
pink eye, and like they're back and forth talking about Jay-Z's lips or whatever they're talking about, and like there's shrimp in our bodies and all this stuff. It's like,
Oh, yeah, they're-
ask me first. Like it's
Well,
all
boys
so
are-
funny.
The van concept is real in Chinatown. It's much less common than it used to be, but you used to be able to like go in a van to get the really good bags. Like that
Yeah.
concept is real. But they would drive you out to like a place in Queens or Brooklyn.
Yeah.
Like that's what you're getting in a van. You're not going in a van to go to a different place in Chinatown.
Sure. Yeah.
But whatever.
Oh.
I guess I had fun.
It's
and
fun,
like
too.
I have to suspend.
My stepmom has bought a bunch of bags from
it's
China
so fun.
to give to girls in the neighborhood. And she went through this phase during COVID when it's like we needed something like that in our lives. And she really was like, you're going to be so excited. I have bags on the way. They're going to be here in 3 months. And then I'm going to give them to all the girls at the country club. I'm like, yes, Kara. I've never seen that girl so excited.
It's exciting.
Yeah, it's like, wait.
absolutely.
And now I have, what's it called? A Louis Vuitton traveler bag.
You do.
Yeah, but it
Wow.
doesn't zip. So
It's not about that.
and
Yeah.
I never really use it.
It's really not about
Because
that.
no
appar-
zippers.
Apparently it'll get stolen.
Oh yeah.
And I'm like, okay, I'm gonna use my Amazon Prime like sling bag.
I think I always want to steal a Ramoa bag.
What's a Ramona
What's a Remo
bag?
bag?
Ramona and Beezus?
You guys don't act like that. It's a silver bag that's like whatever. I can't explain it, and it's not gonna make. It's like in a way bag, but even nicer.
Oh, okay.
Bougie.
And it's like
Oh
metallic.
my God, you know what we have to talk about is the sex shop.
Oh, that's a great part too.
So of course, Abbi spends the night at Jeremy's. Jeremy leaves for work, and Abbi like is partying it up in Jeremy's apartment. Is like, oh, I'm gonna wash the dildo in the dishwasher. Jeremy has a dishwasher, and then it melts, and she's like, I gotta go to the sex shop, and it's so fish out of water, where it's like Abby's in there and she doesn't know how to act, and it is so funny. We see Nicole from Ilana's job, like
with the nipple clamps.
with the nipple clamps,
Such a
being
great
like,
cameo there.
they don't clamp hard enough, and he's like, well, too bad. And it's so just like, yeah, it's nice to see that Nicole like is living her life and being herself everywhere she goes.
Yeah,
I agree.
And it's fun too, like to think about from like a writing perspective, like, you know, if you have like a one-off little character like that who's gonna do that, it's like, oh, why don't we use somebody who exists somewhere else in the world of this show?
Yeah.
Because that
So
just adds a
funny.
little bit of color to them in a funny way, that next time we see her, like, yeah, and she also has, we now know that she needs tight ass nipple clamps.
Literally.
Like, that's such a funny element to her, whereas like I feel like your instinct is just to be like person at register or whatever,
Yeah.
but like to take it back and put it in another character is always just, I was like,
makes
oh,
it
that's so
so
smart.
much
Incredible
Yeah.
writing.
I will say I witness retail workers in other spaces throughout TV shows, and it seems like the only retail workers that ever like enjoy their line of work are people that work at like a Blockbuster store or
Yeah.
a sex store.
Yeah,
And I think that also kind of echoes reality as well.
yeah.
Because I go to a sex store, and I went to a sex store in Portland the other day, just like when I was walking down the street, and it was like 5 p.m. So I was like, what do I do at 5 p.m. in Portland, Maine by myself
When were you in Portland the other day? What the hell?
in August? Okay, so not the other day, a few
Oh,
months
okay.
ago.
Time is a construct.
Sorry, I was
yeah,
just
the
like,
other
did
day.
you go and not tell me?
Whatever. But I walked in. I was able to talk to the person working at the front desk about how the landscape of downtown Portland changed over the last decade.
Yeah.
Because they just like wanted to have a conversation.
Yeah, I feel like they have
I
to be
love it.
super open because like their line of work is to make you feel comfortable. So that's always is like sort of a friendly. But I love the little like I don't know, sort of what's the word I'm looking for? Quick, I don't know, shots that they do here
the
where they're
montage.
Or the montage, thank you, where they're like putting all the dildos up to each other and they're sort of like, and then he's like, hey, this is it, and then like ends up
It's
being like, and this
very-
is the one. It's like, oh, you couldn't have gone here first, like.
It's very Lizzie McGuire movie when they like try on all the outfits.
Yeah.
And they're like,
yeah.
this is the one.
This is the one. Yeah, and
This is the second time they've done this in the show, but the first time the joke was they like play the music that a montage was starting, and then Abby puts on this blue dress, and then I was like, I think it's great. I'm gonna get this
Yeah.
one. And it just ends.
yeah. No, I love that. No, that's
fun.
it's a fun, yeah. And the fact that it's like $79, and she's like, oh god, and then like he
And
doesn't
then
even
Jeremy's
like,
like, $79. It's such a knockoff, and she's like, $79.
Yeah.
Come on.
Yeah.
That's a big number.
yeah,
Yeah, it is. when you
Especially
work at
after they just went to
Solstice.
Chinatown.
true.
Legit.
And they got the cheapest bags on earth. And Ilana even
Alana
echoes
says
that. She goes,
that.
oh,
Yeah.
$79, I'll go to Chinatown and buy the same one for so much cheaper.
Yeah,
She decides to keep it and use it as a necklace
that's
holder.
such a funny, such a funny tag on the end of that is like her putting it up. It's such a good bit. I also love the way, obviously, like Susie Essman is an incredible actor. Back to what we were talking about earlier with the going into the Yelp review, and she's like, "Oh, this like has a horrible reviews. It has like somebody said staph infection," and then Abby goes, "That's not the bad one." The like line reading is so good because she's so dead serious. She turns and she's like, "Oh no, it is." It's like it's so dead serious.
It's
But I
so
also
funny.
I thought she did such a great job of like, because obviously like, you know, the physical comedy of holding the dildo could be like overplayed, but she does it so like she's checking the lining of the bag at the shiva.
Yeah.
Abby, my mother's freshly dead. Let me look at this bag. And then she's like looking through it. And then the way she holds the dildo and is putting the stuff back and then like sees it is like, it's so perfect. And then we cut to them talking about it. It's as
I
they're
so
eating her
funny.
popcorn.
I do
so
love
good.
that Shiva is all about Abby telling all of Ilana's family about her pegging and what pegging is, and then Abby like using it as a metaphor of like, because Grandma Esther was so like girl boss, I decided to peg, and then everybody bursts into tears and they're like, that's beautiful, Abby. I'm like, that is so fun. and then Ilana's like, Mom, feel something, and she's like, I'm feeling the inside of the bag.
It's amazing.
Oh
my
God, it's
well,
such
Susie
a good
Essman,
episode.
I have to say, it's like she's the funniest actress of all time.
Yeah, she's pretty incredible.
I
I mean,
Feeling it.
I don't
everything
think-
she
yeah.
says in Curb is so fucking funny. Yeah, every time she's like yelling at Larry and Jeff, it's always so good. I also love the there's a great line from the dad too when they're talking about pegging. First of all, they're eating the popcorn that Abby brings, which is just such a funny like little visual gag that they're like eating this tub of popcorn. But then when she's explaining what it is, and then the dad goes, is that like a gay thing, Elliot? And it's like, how would I put a dildo over my dick? And he's like, oh, true, good point. And it's like, that's such a classic like parent question where they don't take the 2 seconds to like, just think about it.
Is that a gay thing? It's like, no.
Well, gay guys are into pegging now too.
Like with
like,
dildos?
Anything's
I'm
possible.
not, but I'm just saying, in general, people in the community are pegging now.
Wow.
I want to try pegging one day.
And thank you guys so much. I think we have a really important question to ask you. Every question, of course, is important.
Wait, we have to go to our second break.
Wait, and after this break, you're gonna get a
big
crazy question
question.
coming your way. Oh my god! What a fun little break.
And we're back.
Wait, Nico, are you ready?
I'm ready.
Nico Carney, what
what
is your Broad City moment?
Okay. I was thinking about this as well. And I think, so I moved to New York in 2021, and like any young man, I was like, I'm gonna have to get my hair cut at some point. I need to find a good barber, and I've been stressed about my hair my entire life. I think it's like I don't know. I think when you're trans, there's so many different. My dysphoria is always like my hair, so I always get really stressed about it. So I'm always like, I don't know. I have weird relationships with my barbers and stuff. But anyway, so I found this barbershop down the street from me. Went to this guy. I actually won't say his name. Never mind. Anyway, I went to this guy. I was gonna say it.
I'll say it. It's great.
I went to this guy, and he gave me a great haircut, and I was like, oh, this is perfect. He's right down the street from me. He gave me a great haircut. This is great.
Oh my God, amazing.
I was like, I found this is set. I go back to him like the next month, and he was gone, and he wasn't there. I went on the website to like try to book with him, and his name wasn't on there. And I was like, maybe I misheard his name or something. So I like DM'd the place, and I was like, hey, does this guy like still work for you guys? I get this long message back from the owner who's like, he doesn't work here anymore. He's such a problem. Like borderline unprofessional the way this person was like giving me this too much information about this guy. And I was like, okay, whatever. I like the haircut so much that I'm like, I'm gonna find this guy separately. So I find his Instagram and I message him. I'm like, are you still giving haircuts? Like, where are you at now? And he's like, I'm building my own shop. Come back to me in like 2 months, or I can give house calls. And I was like, all right, I'll come back to you in 2 months. I go to him. We hang out for what? Hang out. I'm in a routine of seeing him for like monthly. So I had done this before I legally changed my name, or like even socially changed my name. And so I was like kind of halfway through seeing him. I'd like sort of begun like fully transitioning and things. And I'd sent so many other people to him because like a lot of people. Other comics were like, I love your haircut. Where'd you get your haircut? And I was like, you got to see this guy. He's great. So I've now like brought this guy all this business. He loves me, but he's the only person in my life who still calls me by my old name because I just like couldn't find the courage to tell him. And thankfully, one of my friends who had seen him like finally like put it together and like told him separately because he was like, who'd sent you? And he was like, Nico. And he was like, Nico. And he's like, this guy. I was like, oh, okay. And so then he started calling me by my name like without like having to have that conversation. But then one time he brought it up. He's like, remember when you used to go by this? And I was just kind of like, oh, I can't do this. And then he stopped listening to me when I was like, this is how I want my haircut. He started kind of going rogue. So I was like, I can't see this guy anymore. So I just kind of cold turkey like stopped going because I was like, I just like don't want to have the whole.
You you built his business from the ground up.
I know. And then I'm like, I have to go. I have to leave this guy. Like I can't keep dealing with this. And
oh my gosh.
So, but he like still like works kind of close to me. So I'm always kind of dodging, like trying not to go by there or whatever. And he would like, he messaged me once on Instagram, was like, I haven't seen you in a while. Where you at? Like whatever. And then sweet Michael Aber goes there as well. And thank God he is quick on his feet because the guy asked him where I was and he said, he moved to LA. So I'm like in the clear. So now anytime he ever runs into him, I'm like, oh, I'm not here anymore.
I'm visiting from LA, actually.
Because I was like, this guy's I'm gonna have to like go fully off the grid or something. I'm like, because he follows me. I had to like block him on Instagram. But anyway, So anyway, my barber debacle, I feel like was
that is stressful.
Yeah, running away from him.
Do you go to my barber now, Lily?
No, but I know who Lily is. Yeah, I'm familiar on Instagram. Yeah, but
all the trans mass in Brooklyn comedy go there.
Yeah, no, I go to a different trans barber. Shout out my friend Ashton at Harari.
Neantian hair salon.
Yeah, seriously, I wonder what they could do for me.
Wait, so Abby now having to avoid her neighbor Jeremy is just like you having to avoid your old barber.
Seriously, at least I didn't peg him. I mean, and wash his dildo.
Would have complicated it.
That would have really complicated it. Yeah, that would have added a layer to it.
Do you have any Broad City moments?
No.
And don't ask me.
Do you have any?
I don't know.
I've been mainly going to the gym. I do feel like Abby Jacobson only worked at Equinox so she could exercise at Equinox because that lifestyle seemed so attractive to her. And that is my story.
Totally.
That is
There
my story.
is something I've been to Equinox a couple times. I went with Connor, my friend and podcast co-host.
Past
guest
was like
of the pod.
episode 5 or something.
Yeah, check it out. He has an Equinox membership, so I went with him as a guest one time, and I was like, Okay, I do see behind the pearly gates of the Equinox. It's pretty sweet. It's pretty
It's
exciting
pretty
back
sweet,
there.
but
yeah.
I'm gonna be honest. Like, I don't know what to do with the eucalyptus towel. I'm getting it out of the fridge, and I'm like, but now what?
Yeah. I did one time convince my way into an Equinox. I was in LA for like not even 24 hours. I was there I did this photo shoot for V-Man magazine last year, and they had me fly out for the photo shoot, and I was like, but I had to fly myself, so I was like, okay, I'm doing like morning flight and then a red eye back because that was the cheapest option. So I was like literally there for not even 24 hours. I get off the flight and I'm like, fuck, I need to like shower or something. Like I feel gross. And I didn't have enough time to like go across town to see any friends on the east side because it was all over in like the west side of town. And so I was like, maybe I'll just like sneak into an Equinox. So I like went to the front desk and I was like, I'm not a member. Can I get like a day pass? And he was like, we don't really do that. And I was like, no way I can get a day pass. He's like, we don't really do that. And I was like, I'm just like in town for a photo shoot. Like I just want to kind of like work out before. And he was like, all right, fine, I'll let you in. And I was like, this is so LA that I just like dropped that I'm here for that.
So
And then
charming.
I went in, I worked out, I used their Kiehl's products, and I was fresh as can be for that photo shoot.
It is like the kind of thing where it's like only Nico would get that. It's like you're so charming.
No, every
like you could go
privilege
to
in the world was working for me, no doubt.
you
yeah.
could go anywhere and be like, but for me,
Please,
though.
yeah, just bat my eyelashes at him. So I've only been to Equinox twice, but both times it was
amazing.
luxurious, no doubt. Yeah.
I went to one with Amelia once, and
Evan did not like it.
she told me to protect my back, and I did do that one time during a workout.
We did it. We
You're
did a
fully
kind of
hunched doing every exercise. Yeah.
we did kind of an intense class called Stronger, where you're supposed to only do like 6 reps a minute, but every wasp in the place was doing like 40 reps. Am I allowed to say wasp, by the way?
I didn't even. Yeah,
Okay.
it's not a. It's what the most privileged group in America. You can't punch out that.
I know, but they're women, right?
No.
Oh, okay. Never mind.
White Anglo-Saxon
Saxon
Protestants.
Protestant.
Yeah.
I'm like, am I hurting their feelings?
That's the one group you can't make fun of, Amelia. You crossed the line this
Yeah, I
time.
crossed the line this time.
Okay, and another amazing. Oh,
They were doing so many reps, so we felt so much pressure to be lifting like these giant weights so fast, and we both were just really sore.
Yeah.
Not in a healthy way.
on the phrase of wasp, just to pull it back to the episode one more time, that's like a great, like there's a line where Abby's sitting in the, or I'm sorry, Ilana's sitting in the nail salon, and she's like, Abby's a waspy Jew from the main line, or just like this whole thing, and her mom's cracking up, and then they start hitting the thing again. It's such a good little like
What is the
quick
Philadelphia
insight.
main line though?
It's just like the train line there. That so like if you're like suburban suburban Philadelphia, you're like a mainliner, and they like King of Prussia Mall.
It is so funny because for the up into the show, we're at the point right now is like Abby's always losing. Abby's always the lower status, and Ilana's always kind of slaying.
Yeah.
So for then Ilana to be like, oh, Abby's a little too fancy.
Yeah.
She can like afford to chip her nails and get it fixed. Unlike us, we have to bring ours from home, and it's like, whoa, what?
Yeah.
I know. That's good.
Sorry, you're mad. Okay, we have one more
No, I'm
segment.
kidding. I'm kidding. That wasn't an earnest thing at all.
Girl, get your Glock. It's rapid fire time. We're going to ask you a series of rapid fire questions. Don't think twice. Answer as quickly as you can. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Are you a schoolgirl? Or are you get schooled, girl?
Get schooled, girl.
How are you?
Good.
Reduce, reuse, recycle, or Rihanna?
Rihanna.
Who would you rather have go down on you, Michael Bublé or Janet Jackson?
Janet Jackson.
Was Little Richard gay or bisexual alien?
Bisexual alien.
Are Jay-Z, Beyonce, and Blue Ivy in the Illuminati?
I mean, it's not looking good for Jay-Z.
Oh, I know. Didn't something happen?
I feel like he's confirmed Illuminati, a.k.a. Diddy parties. And
Right,
then
exactly.
Blue Ivy hopefully will be the savior we need.
Yes,
They
in
won't
Lion
stop
King.
playing P. Diddy at the Bleak Fitness I attend.
You attend.
Does death really make you think about life?
Yes.
Yeah.
Who blasts Thank You by Alanis Morissette?
A lot of people, thank you very much.
Was Abby's crush on Jeremy holding her back?
Yes.
Are there infinite holes in the sea?
Yes.
Boom.
I don't get that at all.
I love it.
What?
What are the holes in the sea?
because Ilana is so we never got to this, but the last scene in the episode is Ilana and Abbi on Abby's bed talking about like whatever, I guess I'll avoid him in the hallways, and then Ilana's like, you know what, like I'm glad like you're done with that. There's plenty of holes in the sea, like you could peg so many more people.
Yeah,
you've unlocked a new level of yourself. And Abby's like, yeah, and then Ilana's like, so you should peg me, and Abby's like, no.
I love the line that they play with that joke of Ilana's like, crush or whatever is so funny because it's like, it's not really romantic. It's just more like kind of like, I don't know, in line with Ilana's kind of like
thing where she's just
crazy,
so sexually free.
sexually free sort of character that's like, come on, friends fuck,
And it's so funny that Abby's like, no.
And then the line in the sand is so firm, always. Like, it's
she's
like not happening.
Absolutely not.
Yeah. And I love that they're both queer post this show. I mean, that's such
I know. I also think it's so fun because in season 1 and 2, I don't even think Abbi had explored her queer identity at all yet.
Yeah.
And then in the later seasons, they write it into the plot because she's then dating a woman in real life.
Yeah.
Whatever.
Super
but
cool.
I think it's so cool the line they draw and then how they expand upon that as the years go by.
Yeah.
I do think it's important they were straight in the first few seasons. Otherwise, the show would have never been made.
Yeah. By the way.
Yeah. That part is we're gonna go ahead and need some straight leads.
Right,
Yeah,
I'm
exactly.
like, wait, you and Connor should have a web series, but you're both just really
straight
straight.
dudes. Yeah.
Really straight.
Yes. I mean, if you heard Connor's straight voice, he's like, "What's up, dude? Yeah, let's go get a hoagie."
Like
He does like a Philly voice.
It's one of those things where it's so realistic that it's fake.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You're like, wait, he
Yeah.
knows something we
Well,
don't.
because you hear it coming out of him, you're like, "That's wrong. That's actually incorrect." Yeah.
Well,
I
thank you
love
so much
it.
for being on the pod.
Yeah, thanks for
Nico.
having me,
We had
guys.
the
This
best
is
time
such a
ever.
blast. Yeah, and again, thanks for having me. This is an iconic episode. I was so grateful to get to come talk about
What
it.
else will we
Honored
get?
to have
Yeah.
you.
Ilana Glazer? We wish.
Yeah.
Where can the people find you?
Yeah, check me out on Instagram. It's at Nico Carney. I also have a podcast called Boys Club. We just started a YouTube at Boys Club Prod, like production company. Even though it's not a production company, we just manifesting. And you can check me out. All my stuff usually on Instagram. I'm going on tour in 2025. So if you want me to come to your city, check me out on Instagram.
One of the funniest boys we have in this town.
I
Thank
do think
you.
it's funny to add prod because it's so many companies now are adding AI to the end of their companies, even if they have nothing to do with AI, just
Yeah,
for funding.
yeah.
You guys should add AI.
Yeah, we should
to
be
the end
prod
of Boys
AI.
Club.
So we'll keep you posted on the exact at. But thanks, guys, so much for tuning in.
Thank
We'll see you next
you.
week. Happy New Year.
Yeah.
Subscribe to the Patreon and follow us on social medias if you don't already. And if you guys could actually go ahead and follow our personal social medias,
Girl.
Elazzy and Amelia, please. That would change my life.
Yeah, check them out.
Yes.
2 great comics. Check them out.
Love it.